College Lands, a quiet village in County Armagh, Northern Ireland, is, to the outside eye, pretty unremarkable. Surrounded by these rolling orchards for which this part of the world is famous, there are only 42 family names. But in amongst these apple trees, one family has really blossomed.
A County Armagh family is celebrating a birthday party with a difference today. The Donnelly family were marking one member's 90th, but in total, the 14 surviving siblings' ages come to 1,117 years, making them, they believe, the oldest living siblings in the world.
There were 16 Donnelly children in total. 11 boys and 5 girls. Of the remaining 14, Austin, the youngest at 70 and a twin, was the first to realise they may be an extraordinary family.
I just rung round and checked the date of birth, and we're afraid we're just short of 1,200 years between us. And I don't know, I think we've learned a lot in 1,200 years of life.
Ireland has a history of large families. My own dad was one of 14 brothers and sisters, and I grew up with stories of how they were all brought up together under one roof. The 16 Donnellys must have a story to tell, and also some advice for the rest of us.
The idea that this large family may be the oldest in the world is fascinating to me, because I'm obsessed with longevity. I think our generation are, and we look towards how we can extend life and make our lives better and how we can stay healthier. So I just want to know how they've done it. Is there a magic secret? Is it where they live? Is it what they eat? Is it a social thing? Is it because they're not lonely? I have no idea what they all have in common, or even if it is a common thread that binds them, or it's just sheer luck.
There are 14 of us, and all as healthy as we were when we were, I'd say, 50s and 60-year-olds, and some of them even 20-year-olds that haven't changed. We don't change. We're in the land of youth.
Who knew the land of youth was a tiny corner of Northern Ireland? So what is the secret?
Well, there was always plenty of work.
We're going to replace the crankshaft in this engine here.
I think caring about one another.
The drink was never seen amongst us at all.
I would have trained every 4 or 5 nights a week.
There was never a fat Donnelly reared.
When you're young, if you get good food, then it's built into your bones and it's built into you. That is what will give you longevity.
70-year-old Austin is convinced he and his brothers and sisters will claim the world record for the oldest group of living siblings.
In a life experience, what must we have between us? Jesus was here 2,000 years ago. We were here the half of that. But I thought that must be some kind of a record. Done some research. The nearest family I could find was 200 or 300 years less. Hey, well, this is interesting.
There had been somebody in Coventry, I think, some brothers, and they were around 1,000 years, but then some of them had died.
As the brothers in Coventry know only too well, time waits for no man.
It's important for us to get this Guinness World Record registered. If we lose one of our family, that takes almost 100 years off it.
There was one of the elder brothers saying, when it was mentioned earlier, oh, he says it's all right, but he says when we start going, he says you may keep on your good suits.
College Land's graveyard. If you're born in the village, it's fairly certain this is where you'll be buried. Deep into an Irish winter, Austin, who first contemplated a world record, was laid to rest.
Austin and I were the twins. We shared the same prom together. We grew up together. And Mummy dressed us just the same when she was out walking with us. Austin and I were two when everybody else was one. So if anybody tackled us, they were tackling the two of us.
The siblings who once numbered 16 are now 13. But through the grief, Leo thinks a world record is still within their reach.
Now that Austin is gone, the baton has been handed to myself and Terry, and we are going to do this. And we will be in the Guinness Book of Record as the oldest family in the world. The Donnelly families from College Lands.
Having taken the baton from Austin, Terry and Leo must piece together long-forgotten family documents in order to apply for the world record.
I believe the oldest family in the world, somewhere around 1,000. Well, I think we could beat that, Terry. What do you think?
Well, that's to be seen.
Start counting. So, you've Brian ticked here, Terry. So, what age is Brian, Terry? Hello. I think I have a Guinness World Record.
Mummy was the youngest of 11 and her oldest brother died at 99 years of age, and then Mummy died at 94 years of age, and in between the other ones all lived long lives.
James Patrick Donnelly, that's Seamus.
That's Seamus. I know they need birth certificates, they need photographs, they need different bits of paper. There's a birth certificate. That's William Anthony, that's Tony's.
It seems the Donnellys aren't the only ones hoping to be recognised for their longevity.
The world's oldest family have lived to a grand old age. Originally they were 16 and they're now down to 12.
We're absolutely beating them hands down. We're 40 years ahead of them.
It's nice to be part of a big family. You feel that you've someone to call on if ever you're in trouble or in need.
Leo's looking for this, so at last I've got it.
Rosie and Eileen and Peter. Sean's the eldest in the family, Terry.
5 boys below me and then her, and then 4 boys below her. So and there was 10 below me.
Mairead, Maureen, Tony, Terry. I said Tony twice. 89 years old. You do not look 89, Eileen.
Well, I feel it.
Kathleen, Colm and myself. But Austin has started. I don't know where we're going to stop. This is definitely going to be a Guinness Book of Records.
This is College Hall, the big house, the grandest residence in the village. It was a house that was fit for 18, and Leo still lives here today.
This is the main room in College Hall here.
Right.
This is where all the parties were. Daddy came down in 1921 to buy a churn, and before Daddy went home, he had the deeds of the place in his back pocket. This was 1921, and Daddy was married in 1923.
Right.
And the first baby, Sean, was born in 1925.
Well, he obviously had big plans when he bought a place like this as a single man.
Like it.
Well, he did a good job of filling it up, didn't he?
Absolutely. Well, thankfully, no TVs and no electric. What else could they do?
Is that what it was? So the entertainment happened
After
the old-fashioned way?
I would say so. This is the master bedroom here. Was the master bedroom for Daddy and Mommy. This is where all the babies were conceived and born.
Right.
Except for the few at the bottom.
And what's the range? So was it like every year? One a
I'd
year?
say every year. There's been a baby every year, yeah.
16 children. Did your mother have any mechanisms, any things that she used to cope with the general craziness?
Well, in the later days, I found out that she liked a wee couple of buckfasts to get her energy back, or tonic wine, or some of those things.
Mrs. Donnelly may have used tonic wine for medicinal purposes, but alcohol was rarely seen amongst the family.
There's not a single drinker in this family, as drinkers would be.
And do you
called.
think that's a part of the reason why you've all lived so long?
It would certainly help.
Yeah. So it's a big house, but 16 bodies is a lot to contain.
Absolutely. I mean, there was 5 years on this side and 11 boys on this side. A lot of bodies. And a lot of bodies in the bathroom at the one time. There's somebody who washed themselves in the bath and others in the sink, but we got it done anyway.
You just had to, didn't you?
We had to do it.
Like most families in college lands, the Donnellys were of farming stock.
As far as we can see away down, if you can see a bank rising a wee bit, there's a field on the far side of it, but the land went away there. There was over 100 acres of it. And yet there were hard times, you know. Land was cheap, but money was scarce.
As soon as the Donnelly kids were deemed old enough, they worked the family land. It's something they're still doing today.
The job we need to do here now, it's going to take you a couple of weeks.
I don't know if I have that long.
Pull the fruit down onto top.
80-year-old Seamus is still farming and showing no signs of slowing down.
You'll always find around a farm, you'll always find 1,000 jobs to do. Yeah. And there's always 100 jobs that's never done.
You're not afraid of hard work?
No, I love it. That's what keeps you fit.
Is that it?
That's what keeps the wee muscles in your arm here.
Yeah, show me them.
Well, there's not many now, but
they're all right.
It helps to build them up. Hey, look at this bee here. Do you see the bee?
Yeah. That should turn into the strawberry.
That's what his job is.
Right.
And he's doing it. Do you see where he goes right round?
Yeah.
The stamens there, and that'll be a beautiful red strawberry, and he leaves.
A lot of men now, over 80, might be thinking they'll kick the feet up and watch a bit of golf on telly and take it easy.
Well,
have you any inclination towards...
I find my friends that, that have retired, the day and they're gone.
Yeah. So they retire and then they give up?
They just seem to fade away.
Right.
Whereas if you do something to keep your brain going and something to keep your muscles going and something to give you an appetite every day, it seems to keep you... It just keeps you going.
Even though Seamus kept himself busy on the farm, he still found time to raise a large family of his own.
You've 11 children? You weren't put off having a big family by being from one, were you?
No, not really. No, it wasn't. I don't know why, it just happened.
Just happened,
It just
right?
happened. It was a good crack.
Seamus will never retire because he's not interested. The thing is, I don't think he's working because he thinks that's good for his health. I think he just doesn't imagine himself in any other way. And like he said, he's seen people around him who have retired and who have died. And so for him, it's not an option. All the Donnellys are still working in some capacity. It's just what they're used to.
One of the big reasons for the success of this family is the fact we played together, we worked together, we enjoyed the successes together and fixed the failures.
As the workload on the land increased, the family invested in the very first tractor in the county.
When we got a tractor, nobody could drive them. We could all go front race, same as driving the horse sitting on its back.
Our horse died. We went for a mechanical horse. I can remember the first day it came home, and the neighbours had all gathered round. There might have been 9 or 10 of the neighbours come down to see this new tractor.
And they said, that tractor will destroy your ground. The wheels destroy your ground.
Why is that?
He says you'll be going back to the horse.
They would never return to the horse, and in late 1930s Armagh, it was a serious case of keeping up with the Donnellys.
Well, Your maid's a good-looking girl, and she buys a lovely dress. And her neighbour's more money, she buys a better one. Does she be happy? You know what I'm saying now?
I hear you, yeah.
Aye, we've been jealous.
As the oldest son, Sean was always destined to work the family land. But world events would keep him and the new Ford Ferguson in constant demand.
Northern Ireland is making a superb war effort. In 1940, she plans to place 250,000 more acres under the plough for food production.
As war took a grip of continental Europe and Sean ploughed to aid the war effort, the population of college lands and surrounding areas doubled with foreign soldiers. Stationed close to College Hall was a troop of Belgians.
There was always 4 or 5 of them come to our house and come in and had a cup of tea.
But it wasn't just tea and conversation the Belgians were interested in.
I would say now they had their eyes on some of the female members of the family, all right.
Maureen Donnelly, the eldest Donnelly girl, caught the roving eye of one young Belgian soldier.
We were playing camogie in the field, and next thing the ball came shooting past me, and I went to get it. And there's this fella sitting, on the side of the hedge. Right. And I said, je vous aime to him.
What does je vous aime mean?
I'm your friend.
Okay.
So he didn't respond to that and just looked and seen me there, and off he went.
Despite being unaware at the time, Maureen had made a major impression on a shy young Belgian soldier called Jean.
So the next time you saw him was on this lane?
I don't know whether he'd been waiting or what, but he just stood up and asked me, would you marry me? I just said, I don't understand what you mean.
But you did understand?
Certainly I did.
Despite an initial rejection, Jean committed his proposal to writing.
Jean wrote to you saying, will you marry me?
Yeah.
And you said...
I'm hoping to be a nun someday. That was it. I didn't say, yes or no or what, so kept me options open, you might say.
Having spent 2 months in Northern Ireland, the Belgians left college lands in the winter of 1945, and Maureen would never hear from the love-struck Jean again. But it wasn't for his lack of trying. The world record bid has unearthed more than just birth certificates. The Donnellys' neglected cupboards and drawers have betrayed some clandestine family secrets.
After all these years to get a photograph that I never had.
Unbeknownst to Maureen, Jean never gave up on his unrequited love.
That's Jean from Belgium.
He's a good-looking lad, isn't he?
Well, that's a lovely photograph, no doubt about it.
As well as sending a photograph to remember him by, the smitten Belgian soldier had continued to write letters for decades. Letters that would never arrive.
This is 20th to the 10th, 45. Dear friend, I write you for to say I shall never forget you and this little country in which called Ireland. The thing I regret most in leaving Ireland is leaving you.
So you just discovered this recently, 70 years after he wrote it?
It was 1945 it was written.
Is it sad reading that?
Of course it's sad.
Despite never receiving a response, it seems Jean wrote letters well into the 1970s. Letters that someone kept secret from Maureen.
Why did the letters never get to you? Who do you think kept them?
Could only be my mother. She would be sort of interested in that sort of...
So your mother had read what she thought was a love letter and thought,
she...
not for my
Maureen. Whatever she thought.
Finding long-lost love letters was an unexpected result of Leo's search for the family's original birth certificates. He's confident the people at Guinness World Records will approve his application and award them the title of the world's oldest family.
When you think of all the number of billionaires in the world today, I think I could see any number of them beating a path to the front door in College Hall and saying, Leo, what is your secret? How did you do it? I'll be saying, come on in and we'll discuss it. And show me the colour of your money. And I'll give you plenty of secrets. People say it must be something in the air. I think it must be something in the soil. They talk about these Mediterranean diets, Japanese sushi, all this and that throughout the world. But we think we've got just as good in our backfields. Apples has been running through our veins since before we were born. That's the start of an apple that'll grow 3 or 4 inches diameter. A lot of people have this apple because they grow a beautiful big apple and they go to Mr. Chiplin's pies. My daddy got into apples about in the 1930s. So there's apples that daddy put in 1939 and 40. They're still growing. They'll last for 100 years.
An abundance of fresh fruit and veg has done the Donnellys no harm at all. But it wasn't just getting their 5 a day that has helped keep them young. They also loved their sport, and many of their physical feats took place where the orchard now stands.
Where these apples are planted here was known as the old sports field. And for sports day, the grass was all mowed and cleaned up, ready for the whole community. Actually, being our field, we put in extra effort to get most of the prizes.
As the saying goes, the apple never falls far from the tree. The Donnellys got their love of sport from Peter Donnelly Sr.
My father was an athlete. I always heard the story that he could have jumped over a 5-barred gate, a field gate, without putting his hands to it.
The Donnelly kids were encouraged to play sport from an early age.
All the children played, boys and girls. Football at one end of the field, girls at the other end of the field.
All 11 brothers played for the local Gaelic football team.
In Gaelic football, you'd make dashes to get a ball, to get it. You had to train for a couple or 3 hours every night. If somebody told you to go out and you do 10 laps of that field, you didn't turn up your nose, you did it.
Seamus is convinced playing sport has contributed to the family's good health.
This is where it helped to build your muscles up and build your body up, and it made you eat more and eat good solid food so that you had your body in good tune.
For the Donnellys, it seems an apple a day has kept the doctor away.
I'm certainly glad we had that healthy lifestyle because it's given us a good chance to get this world record. It's absolutely amazing that the simple things of life can have you stay on this planet for longer than any family in the whole wide world.
In anticipation of the official result from Guinness World Records, Leo is preparing to welcome his brothers and sisters back to College Hall, their childhood home. Is everyone on their best behaviour?
I hope so. I think they will be. I think they will be. The important thing is they get together as a family. It could be for the last time because some of us aren't getting any younger.
13 Donnellys are travelling from far and wide for what they hope will be a celebration.
Maureen! You're very welcome.
Good to see you, Leo.
Welcome home.
Wasn't as well as ever.
Grand for us all getting out and getting our faces washed.
Right, how many do we have now?
We're 2 missing.
It's far too many, that's what's wrong.
With so many brothers and sisters, it can be hard to keep track. So where are you in the lineup?
I'm number 12. I'm number 5.
I will be number 8 about roughly.
Number 8. So you're the eldest.
So was Helmut.
Second.
Second?
Yes.
Okay.
Sean, Maureen, Eileen, Peter, Mairead, Rosie, Tony, Terry, Seamus, Oliver, Brian, Kathleen, Colm, Leo Austin, and Michael was the young one.
Do you worry about anything?
Don't worry about very much.
No.
If my bills are all paid and I don't owe the bank on it, I don't owe anybody else on it, and
But collectively, what do you think everybody here does or has that's...
The Donnelly's apples and the apple tarts could be the secret.
They're the secret.
Yeah.
And we've a few slices in there.
Oh.
Not that much, only got a bit of
But did you love growing up in such a big family?
Oh, well, yes, but we used to think that the boys got away with murder because
never did anything.
we had to do all the cooking, the housework, the cleaning, and then we had to go out and help in the fields.
So the girls had to do everything.
The girls had to do everything.
And the lads were out tinkering with their motors.
Did it say, get me my tea and pour it out?
For your brothers?
These boys here.
Oh, yes. Where these boys were off on their motorbikes and their cars, which we knew nothing about.
It's kind of amazing. Regardless of whether they get the record or not, they're all together. They're all here. They're all healthy. And I think their mum and dad would be really proud.
I'm hoping in a few decades' time that I'll be sitting here eating a load of cake and drinking tea and as happy as you all seem to be. What are the secrets? What's the thing, the advice?
The advice I would give is to be anything that's difficult, let it pass over your head and forget about it.
Sleep on it.
Now, the doctor will tell you it's in your genes. He told me it was in my genes, and I was looking at my genes.
Looking for a view, pal.
To see what he was talking about.
2 leg genes.
And Colm, what do you think it is?
I think it's working together is the secret of a long life and having that family feeling.
So what will it mean to the Donnellys to be recognised as the world's oldest family, if that happens?
If my father was alive, he would be absolutely over the moon to think that all of us are here together, and, you know, it would be the icing on the cake if it all comes together in the end.
With the birth certificates authenticated and all the ages counted, it's time for the official announcement.
So as a Guinness World Records adjudicator, I can confirm you are indeed the world's oldest 13 living siblings. So congratulations, you guys are record holders.
They're officially the world's oldest family. I think you imagine that title to belong somewhere exotic, and actually we're in Armagh, you know, in a field, and that's quite nice. I think the key to it all, really, is tea. Oldest to youngest, all the way, yeah, from the eldest all the way down.
Thankfully, we have got to the finish line and over the last hurdle. And it really is a fantastic feeling, a feeling of completion.
Go on, the Donnellys! I'm kind of disappointed because I love a fad, I love a quick fix, I love someone to say, buy that and it'll fix this. And actually what I'm learning is that the Donnellys don't purport to have any magic solution or reason why they've managed all to live so long. It's kind of all pretty basic stuff.
How do you think Austin would feel about it all?
I can see Austin smiling down at us right now. He's just saying, well done.